got this mysterious ghost ship that suddenly appeared 9 years after being lost at sea. And this one is a real-life story. The Kiwi Report. I think it might be a Hawaiian website, possibly.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't tell you.
And this is by Rebecca Wiltons. Zoom it in. Enhance it.
That's. I've never seen the spelling of Rebecca. It's just K-A-H at the end. Fantastic.
Rebecca.
I mean, it works.
Yeah, it's like somebody didn't actually know how to spell it, so we'll just spell it how it sounds.
Sound it out. Sound it out, Terrence. Yes, Mrs. P.
Over the years, unsuspecting locals have made their way to the beach for a refreshing jog, a morning swim, or even a dog walk, and come across bizarre items that have been washed in by the tide. Of course, you're always going to come across natural ocean debris, and most of us are used to seeing seaweed, driftwood, and even sea creatures laying on the sand. As if that wasn't good enough, boats and ships also find themselves setting up shop on the sand. Most of the time, this is completely by accident. A boat may have suffered an incident while in the middle of the ocean and had to make an emergency dock. A ship may have been caught in the hands of a storm or veered off course. Alternatively, they could have simply washed ashore for no apparent reason. Although this is not common, these ghost ships have bemused onlookers more often than you might believe. These things could get even more bizarre when you realize that their crews are nowhere to be found. In fact, that's exactly what happened with this mysterious ghost ship, reappearing after a whopping 9 years of being completely lost at sea and cut off from all contact.
Wow. Something unexpected is a little subtitle here.
Mm-hmm.
As you make your way to the beach, you might notice that the shore is littered with debris.
Coming this summer.
To a theater near you. The most anticipated thrill ride of the year. Ghost Ship.
Much of the time, this is natural
Starring
debris.
Tim Allen as the ship.
And Danny DeVito as the captain.
A lot of debris. Driftwood, seaweed, turtle shells, jellyfish.
Right.
However, this isn't always the case. In 2018, a Myanmar beach made headline across the world when a ship that had first been reported missing a whopping 9 years ago turned up out of the blue. Because it had been missing for so long, people presumed that the boat and the crew on board perished at sea.
So wait, they're saying that the boat would have perished? I'm guessing they're saying it just went under.
You ever see that cartoon short about the little boat that could, and then it was in a giant storm and it puffed out little SOS smoke clouds?
No.
No?
It sounds like Thomas the Train
Engine. Disney cartoon. It had a face.
So was it SCP?
It was alive, yeah. So it must be this similar situation where it was alive, got lost, and then died.
I see.
So that's a skeleton ship.
Amazing. Throughout history, tales of the ocean have made their way back to the shore and allowed us an inside look at life at the sea. Yet not so many of these stories have involved mysterious ghost ships and crews that have simply vanished into the thin air. This was the case for the Myanmar ghost ship.
I'm getting like a Sean Connery kind of vibe from you.
What happened to the crew? Had they perished at sea and stayed on the ship as spirits? How had the huge ship simply disappeared in the first place?
Got lost.
This story was just full of cliffhangers.
There's no cliffs at sea.
And people wanted answers.
I'm telling you. It got lost.
Sean, get out of here. We're trying to do our show.
The ship in question, as those on land saw a huge ship with their own eyes, officials knew that they would have to make their way to the boat to see it for themselves.
What do you think about that? Is it
That's
Sean
just,
enough?
Yeah, a little bit.
Sean Connery.
I think we've
shaking
been
no
infected
stern.
by SCP. That makes us sound like Sean Connery.
It was during this expedition that they noted the ship was the Sam Ransackler.
The Sam Ratulangi PB 1600.
Right. That just rolls off the tongue.
Big old freighter ship.
Mm-hmm.
This container ship made its maiden voyage in 2001
I don't think I'm really nailing it. I'm going to switch back to the other one.
and had transported a huge amount of cargo from one side of the world to the...
I mean, this isn't really trailer-y, I suppose. It sailed tirelessly for 8 years before one voyage seemingly became its last. It was then presumed missing for nearly a decade.
Oh boy! Drifting through the ocean. The ship was spotted by a group of fishermen who were taking the boat through the area of Yukon and the Myanmar. When they noticed the ship, they were immediately confused. They could see there was a whole ship and also noticed that the exterior was rusty and worn. It was unusual to see such a ship in bustling commercial area of the ocean, and they knew something wasn't quite right. Somebody had to go and check out this mysterious ghost ship for themselves.
Searching for something. As news of the unusual ghost ship made the rounds, Myanmar Navy were soon drafted to have a proper look at the Sam Ratulangi. They made their way to the ship to take a closer look at the vessel and soon realized it had been almost and completely covered by rust and rot. Gross? However.
What was this picture taken by, like, the camera from the 50s? Look at the pixels in there. I can even see them individually.
Yeah, I think they just didn't copy it over, right? They like, scaled down the resolution and
maybe.
then tried to stretch it out.
I know them feels.
Fools. You think this was a reporter? Or maybe it's just like the rescue guy had his like phone camera.
Yeah, maybe.
Took a picture.
So, the last encounter.
However, this wasn't the only aspect of the ship that left them scratching their heads. There was absolutely no sign of life on board, and they couldn't find any clues as to where they may have gone.
The last encounter. Ships are required to log their journeys, but Navy officials are bemused when they notice that the last logged journey for the Sam Ratulangi was 8 years ago before it was found floating aimlessly through the Myanmar. So the last known position...
We can't say these words.
Yes. The last known position was in 2009 in vessel's time zone. Wait, that's more than like... That's,
9 years.
Maybe at the time they found it, it was like 9 years later. I was going to say it's probably like 10 years later at this point.
Keep going.
Yeah, but let's see. Area... That was China Sea? Okay, so it's China South Sea.
Latitude 23, longitude 119.
And if you minus those, you get number 3. Half-Life 3 confirmed. Confirmed.
Half-Life 3 confirmed, everybody. Congratulations.
Get the map potato.
In 2009, Sam Ratulangi logged its last known location near Taiwan. I thought it was near Taiwan. Oh, wait, it actually says
there. It's right there.
Tainan City, actually.
I like how they just took a screenshot of Google Maps.
I mean, that's what I do.
So, in 2009, the Sam Ratulangi logged its last known location near Taiwan, which was not unusual for the ship. After all, the cargo ship spent most of its time sailing across Asia, and there wasn't anything fishy about such a location. LOL. I get that joke.
Was fishy a joke? Because it's in the ocean?
So what happened after this? How did Sam Ratulangi become the ghost ship?
I mean, it disappeared. Stuck in the mud. It's a short answer.
Right.
It's believed that the Sam Ratulangi ran into trouble when it made its way through the Sichuan River. With strong currents and shallow waters, this river is rarely used for trade ships, such as the Sam Ratulangi.
Okay. But, I mean, it was lost at sea, right?
Yes, but it is also lost in the muddy river as well, apparently. It is believed, anyway. This is what they think. They have no proof, and they don't know what they're talking about. But instead of the 260-mile-long river, it's primarily used for small vessels who wish to transport timber from one side of the country to the other. Because of this, it was highly unusual for a cargo ship as large as Sam Ratulangi to use the passageway. It is believed that it got stuck in the mud. Not the only one.
Okay. Although the story of the Sam Radalangi may be incredibly bizarre, it is not the only ghost ship that has simply turned up unannounced. In 2017, a Japanese local got the fright of their life when they stumbled upon a wooden ship on the beach.
Oh,
Whoa!
Small ship.
He's just like walking, like just like looking down his phone or something. Maybe he's got like one of those metal detectors, and he just like bumps into it. It's like ah.
Little do we know, this man, in his youth, was at the beach with his family when all of a sudden a small wooden ship got up on its back and smashed his parents. He became terrified.
The Batman of the wooden ships.
He experienced severe trauma that haunts him to this day.
Must have been. That must be the only way they could have gotten the fright out of
Why
their
else
life.
would you got scared
Unless
by an old
maybe
ship?
he was like sleeping on the beach and then like all of a sudden this like wooden ship washes up and like pushes him around.
It called him names.
That's right.
He
Judging
got
by
really
the state
scared.
of the boat, it had been floating around the ocean for months and months. But that wasn't what shocked them the most. Inside the boat were 8 skeletons of North Korean men who had sadly perished a long time. Oh, man. I think that would probably be one of the worst ways to go out, is just, like, being lost at sea. And, like, you're there with a whole bunch of other dudes, and then everybody's slowly going insane because, like, you're basically going hungry.
I mean, yeah. I guess they had nothing with them. If they had, like,
They
fishing
would just
equipment.
go insane.
If they had fishing equipment and some way to filter water, they could have survived, but I guess they did not.
The Holy Grail.
You know, he wasn't scared of the skeletons. He was scared of the boat.
That's
Let's
right.
just
That's
clear
what
that up.
That's what it said. In March 2018, a mother and her son were taking a leisurely stroll on the Florida beach when they noticed something a little out of the ordinary. It was Florida Man! Blocking their path were planks of wood that seemed to be piled on top of each other.
What? Wooden planks.
As they got closer, they noticed they were, in fact, standing in the front of a shipwreck that got irrelevant officials involved so they'd take a look for themselves. However, it wasn't just any old ship. This was instead a ship from the 18th century.
Wow.
Did they get any gold?
Did they get any pirate booty?
If it was me, I wouldn't say there was any gold there. I'd just take it home.
Yeah, of course.
Don't want to get any government be like, oh, that's ours.
Doesn't belong to the government if it was in the water.
That's right.
Obviously.
You just take it out to the Dead Sea and get it there.
Now I'm going to do a pirate voice. Wash ashore.
Yar! It seems as though Florida is a breeding ground for ghostly shipwrecks because Melbourne Beach was also spooked by a boat
It's getting less piratey.
that came ashore September 2017. Yar.
That's my pirate voice. You just say
that
yar.
was all right.
It was all right?
That was all right. I think
right.
you just got to do a really lazy, like, British accent, and you can get a...
British. What kind of Cockney accent?
You kind of do, like, just, like, a lazy, like, maybe southernish British accent.
Hello.
However, this shipwreck was a little different to those we have seen in the past.
I don't think that worked.
A little bit too
A
slow,
little bit too slow.
but the slurring really works.
Because there are a few additions to the vessel. What, pip, cheerio.
That's right.
Perched on the boat was a single velvet rose, while a mannequin stood next to it on the sand. This mannequin also featured a plaque that read, "The beatings will continue until morale improves."
Oh, until morale improves. Yikes.
Oh. What? Hopefully it was a joke. Maybe they were trying to meme.
The mannequin had a plaque? I guess it was tied to its neck.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. I was just about to, like, comment on the mannequin, and then I brought it up.
I mean, it looks like a small, like, kind of fishing boat with, like, the one sail and the little
Like,
deck.
this is, like, a sailboat, and, like, those
Yeah.
things cost, like, quite a few thousands of dollars.
It's a small boat, so I imagine it was only, like,
Wait,
5
it's
people
the name of
max.
this boat called Cookie?
Cookie?
Amazing.
I believe it's pronounced Kiki.
Cookie.
Let's just I'm going to call it Cookie.
All
But
right.
it's Cuki,
So,
for those who want to know.
two at once. As the Myanmar Navy tried to understand the circumstances surrounding the Sam Radalungi, they soon discovered a clue that could answer a few of their questions. They looked at the radar and noticed that the Sam Ratalungi was not the only ship traversing the waters when it seemingly disappeared. Sailing near the ship was a small tugboat called the Independence, and it was this tugboat that was actually tugging the Sam Ratalungi at the time. The Navy were able to locate the Independence, and could those on board shed some light on the ghost ship? So they were tugging it, and then it's just like maybe they fell asleep or whatever, and then they looked behind and was like,
hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Dave, where's the giant ship we were tugging? What? I guess that's the real mystery, is why isn't those bodies on board? It's all empty.
Right.
No one, like, if they did escape, they didn't report it.
Well, sometimes tugboats, like, they tug a ship out to sea, like, safely, and there's crew on board. So it could have been a crew on there. But it could have... I can't see them tugging, like, a huge ship like that with nobody on it.
Yeah.
But we'll find out, I guess, as we go.
Tracking them down. Amazingly, the Navy were able to find the crew of the Independence, and they immediately asked them to answer a few questions about their encounter with the Sam Ratalungi. It was during this investigation that the Navy heard their story. What was their story? That they were bored and they just left it for fun? The crew of the Independence had
just
indeed
a prank, bro.
been tugging the cargo ship when they encountered bad weather. The two ships became separated during this time, and the Sam Ratalungi was damaged. Because of this, they planned to take the ship to Bangladesh to sell to shipbreakers. The business of all of it.
It's no secret that the ships can't last forever, and with an average life expectancy of 25 to 30 years, older ships are often taken to shipbreakers when they reach the end of time. Although their engines and their hull are no longer fit for use, these ships are covered in strong and sturdy material that is also extremely valuable. It's the job of these shipbreakers to strip the ships of the expensive material and all of the metal on board. They then sell it for profit.
Those giant ships only last 30 years?
Yeah, so like these ships are like probably, I'm going to say, at least $1 million, if not close to it.
And like, how long does it take to build a ship? Well, it takes like at least 1 year, put it all together.
I'm going to guess at
More.
least, 10 to 12 months. For a huge one like this one.
Well, yeah, for actually
It's
a big one like
looks
that,
like a giant freighter ship.
assuming they have like a full team, I think a year,
Right.
but less, maybe like they run into weather problems, pushes it back.
Well, I think it's like usually built inside like a giant warehouse building.
Oh, yeah.
Or like an open one. I don't think like an enclosed one, but.
Like a giant dock warehouse.
And then they kind of like slide it down the water.
Fill up a dam, maybe, and then...
Yeah.
No, they did that in the Les Miserables. Les Miserables?
Les Miserables? Or Les Miserables?
With the John Huntman, the Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I don't remember that part.
They built a ship in the mud, and then they all had to drag the ship out.
The beginning.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I don't think they do that anymore, though.
No, probably not.
Coming loose, the Sam Ratalungi disappeared off the radar. It seems as though it was simply floating around the ocean. The crew had disappeared, the cargo had all gone, and there was absolutely no activity when the Independence came across it. They decided to do something about it. So wait, this thing was just floating out in the ocean. They went on board, it's like, hey, there's nobody around. How about we go sell it to some shipbreakers? Instead of maybe reporting that the ship was just...
Yeah, probably should have reported, we lost your ship.
Right? Maybe, sometimes I heard about these, like, pirates. Like, pirates are still going around. And some of these ships have security guards that will stand on there to have lookouts for different pirates that want to come on and steal the ship, where they steal some of the content, some of the money, like expensive materials and whatnot.
Now, hold on here. Something's not right.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Wait a minute.
Something ain't right. It's when it disappeared off the radar, it seems to floating in the ocean, crew disappeared, cargo gone, no activity. Then the Independence came across it, and they decided to do something.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They found it.
It was already lost, so how did it get lost?
I don't know.
They wanted to get the ship safely to shore. They thought they were the right people for the job. However, the bad weather thwarted their plans, and they were forced to abandon it. If the bad weather hadn't cut them loose, they may have been able to solve the ghost ship puzzle much quicker. But it was already a ghost ship.
another attempt. However, as the Navy looked closer at the Sam Rattlingi, they noticed that the Independence wasn't alone in its flights. Officials noticed that another line was attached to the boat, which means a second tugboat had attempted to take the ship to safety in the past. Once again, this line had came loose and separated the two boats. So this boat was like, no, I'm going to stay free.
Hell no.
Get off, man.
Amazing.
It seemed as though the Sam Rattlingi just didn't want to make it to its final destination, which makes us wonder what happened to the original crew members.
It was a prank. It is fooling.
Just a prank, bro.
Called in for questioning. Once the Myanmar Navy had managed to track down the elusive crew of the Independence tugboat, they knew that they would have to shed some light on the ghost ship. The tugboat was on its way to Bangladesh when the Myanmar Navy stopped them in their tracks and asked them to answer a few questions about the Sam Rattlingi. Could they have been responsible for the fact that the cargo ship was simply floating around the waters of Myanmar? Could they have been responsible for the missing crew?
A tough job. Because there was no crew members and no cargo on the board ship, the Myanmar Navy knew that they just needed to get the 26,500-ton ship out of the river.
That's a lot of pebbles.
They needed to take it to the safe place where it was out of the way, and then they could take a look at the. They could take a real look at it.
Take a real look at it. A tough job.
Right.
They took our tough job.
They took a However, there was no guarantee that they would be able to tug the boat out of the riverbed. After all, the two boats had already tired to fell on the mitten. Would it be stuck there for no rotten ultimately think?
I hope you added subtitles.
It was like, however, there was no guarantee they would be able to tug the boat out of the riverbed. After all, two boats had already tried and failed on their missions. Would it be stuck in the river to rot or ultimately sink?
So that's you worming your way out of putting subtitles on.
I mean, I could, but...
Nah, you don't have to. Social media storm.
Was this somebody typing in, like, when you can type in symbols?
I assume that's Bangladesh, right?
Right.
What is Bangladesh?
It looks, like, no offense, but it looks like, when you go to symbols on, like, the word, you're typing in symbols, it looks like that.
When every letter just has an, like, umlaut on it. As more and more people around the local area heard stories of the Sam Rattlingi ghost ship, the Myanmar Navy decided to update their social media channels to keep those interested up to date. They posted 4 photographs on their Facebook page, and they followed these photographs up with the description of the ship. Well, you can
totally read this.
The only thing I can read is the word Sam Rattlingi. The rest might as well be Italian. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it looks like Japanese to me. I gotta tell you, Goose, it looks like Japanese.
Just ancient Aztec. Just straight Latin. Here's some photos. It's like half sinking.
Yeah.
It's pretty spooky, but not too spooky.
The very first picture made it look like it was up on the beach.
Was that the case? But this picture, there's like nothing there. Maybe it's a shallow.
Could be.
Oh man, San Yu, Uvkrang Myat, and Coco, and 1,899 others like this.
Amazing.
Coco knows what's up.
That's right. Coco, my boy.
The post was an immediate hit with those around the world, and everyone wanted to know where the ship had come from and what happened. After all, it's not every day you see a ghost ship.
That's right, inside the ship.
This is what I want to see.
As the Myanmar Navy made their initial investigations of the ship, they were able to go below deck and check out what was hiding underneath. It was here that they were able to find the engine for the first time. While it was a little rusty and obviously incredibly old, there didn't seem to be anything inherently wrong with the engine. If someone wanted a little restoration project, they would be able to restore the engine to its former glory. So what's happened to the ship now?
In safe hands. You'll be happy to know that the Sam Rattlingi is now in safe hands. Until the ship and the circumstances surrounding its disappearance are crystal clear, it's staying in capable protection of the Myanmar Navy.
Thanks there, Kim.
No problem, Ron.
My name is John, son of...
Back to you in the studio. Well, you call me Kim, so, you know.
It looks like a warship in the background there. I guess that's the mayonnaise navy there.
Looks like some kind of naval force. I don't know.
It was only if we, had known that there was a navy involved this whole time. Right?
If only we'd known.
If only.
I only was focused on the Myanmar part.
Right.
They're hoping that over the next coming months, they will be able to understand what really went on with the cargo ship, and they'll be able to answer the questions surrounding the crew, its location, the cargo, and why it was simply left floating for nearly a decade. Because it was fat. No one wanted to pilot a fat ship.
That's right.
They want lean, mean sailing machines.
Yeah, they wanted a submarine. The next step, after years adrift at sea, the Sam Rattalingo has finally found somewhere to call home for the next few months. However, what happens to be the investigation concludes is still up in the air. There's still a little chance that the ship will be repaired and sent back out for action. Although that is still an option. Well, who owned it?
Sam? Wait a minute. Look at that.
Doesn't that say Pam?
It looks like Ram. That ain't an S. That's an R. That's
they fooled us the whole time.
They were talking about a different ghost ship.
Maybe this is its sister ship, perhaps.
One's in Bangladesh. One's on the opposite end of Bangladesh. The different ship.
Oh, that one, right? It's more likely the ship would be sent to shipbreakers nearby to be broken up and sold for scrap. It is sad to end the legacy of this ghost ship, but something that happens to countless ships every single year.
I know he means breaking them down for selling, but I was like, countless ships every year get lost for 9 years and then pop up.
It's just a common thing.
Without any recollection of the cargo or the crew. Yeah, countless ships. It's more dangerous than being an astronaut these days.
Mm-hmm.
The famous ship. Although the story of Sam Rattalingo has shocked and confused countless people across the world, it's not the most famous ghost ship to ever come into our lives. No, that privilege goes to the boat by the name of the Flying Dutchman.
Dun, 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 dun. The legend of this boat can be traced back to the 1700s, although it's believed that the ghostly shell of this ship can be spotted by innocent fishermen to this day. This cursed ship and its crews has supposedly been in limbo since this time, and has been sailing the 7 seas ever since.
The words of the captain of the Flying Dutchman had this to say: "All my treasure is in one piece. You just have to find it."
That it's the show. It would never end.
It's the show. The legend of the Flying Dutchman is just that, a legend. However, this doesn't mean such events haven't happened in real life. 2017, very real phenomenon made its way to the world and has continued to plague those involved since then. This is the subtitle, "The Ghost of North Korea."
Right.
In fact, over 110 North Korean boats have found themselves washed ashore or sunk since this time. Why specifically North Korean boats? I assume because they can't leave to go get them.
Maybe.
While they may not be ghost ships, many of the wreckages have been found with bodies of the deceased still on board. The most recent example of particularly gruesome.
Well, I think that we'll probably end it here. As far as that goes, I think it's probably a lot of people trying to leave North Korea.
You think so?
Because every time they have somebody trying to leave, they don't make it.
It's true.
It's not funny, but now actually it seems that they're calming things down there, but it was pretty bad for a bit. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. The Flying Dutchman. I mean, could you imagine the Flying Dutchman showing up maybe on a U.S. warship?
On top? It's
yeah,
just
no,
right
I mean not literally on top, but beside it, because they usually attack.
Who would win? Ghost ship or giant naval battle machine?
I don't think they'd be able to sink the Flying Dutchman because technically the ship itself is a ghost. But at the same time, I don't know if cannonballs could penetrate the titanium steel.
My money's on the Flying Lunchman. It's got nice boards. And that's about it.
Yeah, it looked like it was green, so they obviously were, going 420 up in the boat.
The captain.
Snoop Dogg is the captain of that boat.
But he's a skeleton.
I mean,
but he's Snoop Dogg.
You ever seen Snoop Dogg?
He's
pretty skinny.
But just move the flesh and the muscle out of there, all right? Just keep his hair. Keep his big clock, except that's not his thing.
It'll just start calling him Snoop Dutchman.
Snoop.
He was trying to call himself Snoop Lion at one point, and then Snoop Dragon.
The Flying Dogman.
Now, the Flying Dogman. There we go.
A bunch more things here about different cases of washed up boats in Japan and a lot of lesser known ships.
Yeah. So the real reason.
The real reason. Oh, this is a different ship. Oh,
okay. It says no smoking. I think somebody probably smoked on that boat. That's why it got lost at sea.
It says they were unable to pay their crew in the middle of their voyage. They decided to literally abandon the ship, let it float away.
Wow.
And here's a picture they used from that movie that I don't remember. Captain Phillips.
Yeah, if you ever seen the movie Captain Phillips, you'll know that depicts a real life event where the Maersk, Alabama, was taken over by pirates. Although the idea of pirates normally falls into the fantasy film category, pirates are a real issue in the world, especially in Africa.
Kind of
Although
terrifying.
Navy groups across the world do everything they can to prevent such things happening, pirates do sometimes succeed in their missions. Because of this, there is a chance that the Tanya 1 was hijacked by these pirates.
Tanya 1.
That's right.
Pirates.
Yeah, so you see, that's how I was talking about before. It could have been pirates for the other ship.
Yeah, the first one, that's why all the cargo's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, or ghost pirates.
But they never said who owned it. Who's going to sell it? They were like, yeah, we're going to take it to the shipbreakers.
I mean, yeah, there should be a registry somewhere.
But who owns the ship?
The name of the person who...
you think the company would have came forward and been like, oh, yeah, this ship was going this way.
Yeah, it was piloted by Captain What's-His-Face. But they didn't do it.
Yeah, it didn't say who owned it or what.
Maybe because they have to pay for it.
There's more... maybe. There's probably a thing. It's like, yeah, you got to pay for all these people trying to get this back to shore.
Another case of bureaucracy at work. The man taking it from the other man. And that's a wrap here on the Folklore Scrolls. Make sure to comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, good times.
But don't.
And make sure to check out our Instagram, our Twitter, our YouTube channels.
Or, just relax and enjoy it if you want.
Yeah.
Either way.
Or, share it with everybody that you know, your dog, your cat, your parrot.
Force it down your friend's throat if you want.
Yeah. Tell everybody. Anyways.
Tie them up in a room. Have this thing on loop.
Uh-huh.
If you feel like it.
No
pressure.
It won't be torture at all. They'll be like, thank you so much. I want some more.
End of the day, there'll be a new fan.
So what do you think for next time there, Goose? What do you want? What do you want to look at next time?
Okay, I've got a hankering.
So we can give them a quick look into the future.
I got a hankering for something that has not two eyes.
All right, then. We'll see you guys next time on the Folklore Scrolls. Holla at you later.